on The Bobby Bones Show now.
Dr. Debiparshad.
Well, so this doctor's on who did the limb lengthening on that guy in the news who he paid $75,000 and had his height
increased
by 2 inches, which is crazy. So we reached out to this doctor. He's on now. Hey, Doc, how are you?
Hey, how's it going? How are you?
Hey, pretty good. I appreciate you talking with me here. Now, you came into the news. Did you notice when this story went somewhat viral?
I did notice that it got picked up by a lot of different news outlets.
To me, it seemed like something that was really new, but apparently you've been doing this for a while. How long have you been doing leg lengthening surgeries on folks?
So leg lengthening itself, like the concept of leg lengthening, has actually been around for 70 years probably. We've been mostly using it for trauma, limb deformities, any of those types of applications. With the using this technology for limb lengthening for cosmetics has also been around for quite a few decades. With this most recent technology, it's really come out in 2018, which we've been really trying to offer to patients from a cosmetic perspective since then.
It's amazing to see this story. Our producer, Raymundo, who's 5'5", he has often wanted to be taller. How tall could he really get, and how much would it cost? Like maximum, but still safe?
So in your thigh bone, you can probably get the maximum capacity of the nail, which is about 80 millimeters, which is almost 3.2 inches. In the lower leg, which is the tibia bone, you could probably safely get anywhere between 2.5 to 3 inches. So in combination, you can get close to 6 inches of height.
You're telling me, Doc, that Raymundo could be 6 foot tall if he had this surgery?
He could. I've had patients similar to him that probably have reached close to 6 foot. Yeah.
Wait, question about these patients.
Yeah.
If it is purely for cosmetic, I get other reasons. But do they just show up in life way taller?
Like they just leave and then a month later they come back?
Right. And then, because that's other cosmetic things are subtle. People may not notice, but it makes you feel better. And so, but yeah, that's walking away 5 inches taller is a huge deal.
Sure, yeah. No, definitely patients, when they go back to their social circles, whether they tell their friends or not, certainly I think people notice it. I've had some patients come back who went to see their parents, and their parents assumed they were getting shorter, not that they got taller.
Oh, that they themselves were shrinking. It's oh, wow.
But yes, it's definitely a big game changer for patients when they go through this procedure.
On right now, again, Dr. Kevin Debiparshad, and who is a Harvard-trained surgeon. He is the absolute best at what he does. I'm reading about all of his medical achievements. We would spend 10 minutes talking about his medical achievements. So let me just assure everyone
he's
he
qualified.
Is completely legit, more legit than you would ever imagine. And he was in the news because this one guy jumped 2 inches. If I wanted to come in, or Raymundo, and wanted to go 5 inches taller, how much would that cost?
So generally the starting price for one surgery is about $75,000, so it's not cheap. The implant itself takes up more than half of the percentage of that price, so it's a pretty expensive procedure.
What's the recovery time like if you go in?
So generally we keep you in hospital for approximately 2 days, but we get you up walking within 4 hours after the surgery, usually with a walking aid. And generally you're off that aid in about 2 weeks or so, and back to your normal activities like driving, going back to office work, that sort of stuff by the 2 week mark.
Wow. Go ahead.
Is this more of a male, if it is cosmetic, male or female requested procedure?
Sure. So, we did 6 cases last week, and all of them were male patients, but I did a couple consults yesterday, and actually 2 of them were female. So about 80 to 85% are male patients, I would say, but there's still some interest in the female space as well. We had a female patient who actually did a piece in Lifestyle on Yahoo, who was interested in acting and getting into that space in LA, and she felt that adding to her height would get her more roles in those different positions.
Well, okay. when he said 6, I thought, this is how naive I am to the fact that this is happening all the time. I thought he was going to say, we did 6 cases last year. Oh. And then he said last week. So a lot of people are getting this done. Does it stretch out the skin? Like, I'm curious too. Well, obviously it does, but like if you wanted your legs longer, then does that help spread things out? Like if there's like cellulite, I'm curious.
Okay, Amy now wants it for her, Doc.
I'm just curious.
It does. It does stretch out the skin, so it makes that skin appear a little tighter. For the female figure, it certainly complements that because it gives that exaggerated, those exaggerated legs, kind of like, Barbie doll, essentially, with very long legs. So it does do that as well, yes.
So, Doc, I'll be honest with you. We have a little basketball court we play here at the house. I have a friend whose name is Matt Stell. He's like 6'5", 6'6", and he kind of dominates me down on the low post. Now, I'm just barely above 6 foot tall. So if I were to come in and get a couple inches, would I still be as physically able with that couple of inches, like have the athleticism I have now, but just be a couple inches taller?
So that's a good question. What I generally tell patients is that if you are going through this procedure, you can lose some of your high level athletic abilities. I would say probably in the range of 10 to 15%. I still think you'd be able to play basketball. You'd still have that advantage of having the additional height, but you probably may lose some of your athletic abilities. There's certainly a possibility. Though I have had patients that have gone through this and come out the other side to say they feel about normal. They feel that their athletic ability wasn't diminished at all. But I would still go into this thinking that you could lose about 10 to 15% of your high-level athletic abilities. And if that is okay with you, then this might be a procedure that you'd be interested in.
Yeah, I can't lose any. If I lose any, I'm done.
He has nothing left.
I'm barely holding on to any at all. Right now, Dr. Kevin Debiparshad is on with us, who is the expert at Limb-Lengthening surgeries. Could you do my arm? For example, I can't reach Eddie right now, but I almost can. Could you do my arms?
Yeah, they're actually, the implants are applied for using if you had a traumatic injury. So you can lengthen someone's arm. For instance, patients who have achondroplasia, which is a very common cause of dwarfism, generally have very short arms. So they can sometimes often come in for cosmetic lengthening of these areas to have a longer reach. So it can be done, and it's actually probably a little easier than lengthening your legs since you don't have to walk on them.
Slightly off topic here. You went to Harvard. When you're in class in Harvard, is everybody just, you look around and go, well, everybody is really freaking smart right now?
Yeah. I mean, I suppose that everyone there's a lot of very accomplished people that walk around. But, there's a lot you can learn from being in that environment. So I think it's a good place to be. Okay, better question.
Are there any dum-dums? Are you ever sitting in a class in Harvard and look around and go, well, that's a real dum-dum?
How'd he get in here, or she?
Yeah, people do have, certainly quirks about them. Just because you're academically very smart doesn't mean you're socially very smart. So you can certainly rub people the wrong way and have certain, character flaws, despite being very book smart and getting into a prestigious school. I think that, they can certainly look like a dum-dum, I guess, in some ways.
Yeah. That's what I would be. I try to find the dum-dum. If you can't find the dum-dum, that means it's probably you. That's like playing poker. Amy, do you have one final question for the doctor?
I think I asked.
Are you good?
Yeah, I mean,
Are there scholarships we can qualify for if we can't afford the full price?
For a cosmetic procedure?
Yeah, you never know. There are all kinds of scholarships out there. He said no. He's just looking at me like no.
I mean, you would
scholarships necessarily. We do offer some third-party financing for the procedure, but no scholarships at this point for the procedure or anything. Not like a Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Well, yeah. I mean, you would have to. I mean, because if that many people are getting this done at $75,000, and that's the starting point, $75,000, then yes. I mean, this is something that I doubt a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm going to write a check. Cash.
Last question, Doc. Last question. If I walked in with a briefcase with $500,000, I said, "Here's $500,000. Do everything you can do to me to make me look good. Like stretch me, build me. Like, would that be in arms, legs? Would you be able to really make me into basically Iron Man?"
Yeah, I don't know about Iron Man, but I mean, I could certainly add probably 6 inches to your height. I could probably. I don't know if you'd want your arms necessarily longer.
Oh, I would.
That was
yeah.
That you. Yeah, you'd want all that. So then, we'd make you the lankiest guy around. You'd make you into
Well, hey, we really appreciate your time. Now, let me tell you, you guys can go and follow on Instagram, Limb, PLASTX Institute. Am I saying that right, Doc?
Correct.
Limb,
That's
PLA.
right, Limb Plastic.
Okay.
So you do all
plastics
limbs.
as in TX. Plastics. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Like I didn't know if you
Yeah,
did
yeah.
other cosmetic procedures, but you do limbs.
It wouldn't be necessarily cosmetic. It'd be more functional, I think, if you were trying to, let's say you got into a car accident, lost part of your arm, or part of it got infected and had to be resected, then you could regrow that component to make it more functional. So that's really the main application of this type of, this type of surgery and this type of technology. But with the more recent advantages in the new types of technology, we're able to safely give this to patients on a cosmetic level. It's been something that patients have wanted for a very long time, and they've done it for really decades with older technology, but I think it's become much safer and, much easier to do with much better, prognosis and outcomes with this more recent technology.
Unbelievable. This has been such a fascinating conversation. You do great work. I know you work with a lot of folks who have been in accidents and have different issues, and the cosmetic thing is just a small part of what you do. So I appreciate you coming on, answering our questions, putting up with us, and just being here this morning. So thanks, Doc. I really appreciate you.
No problem.
All right,
Thanks, guys.
there he is, Dr. Kevin Debiparshad at Limb Plastics Institute in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh yeah, I'm on his Instagram now, and I'm amazed. This one guy, he took from 5'11" to 6'1".
That's the guy in the news.
Yeah.
We talked about.
Okay, yeah.
This one guy. You mean
Sorry.
the whole reason we found him?
It's a